Okay, time to have a quick review of the chapter. It was a long chapter, so most of the things in the beginning we're going to have to look at a little bit. The ones we're just completing now are probably going to require a little less explanation. Okay, first thing we dealt with was conjectures and counterexamples. Remember conjectures, find the next number in the pattern. Find the next figure in the pattern. That's looking at it and making an educated guess. Okay? Counterexamples, such as this. If AB is equal to BC, then B must be the midpoint of AC. Okay? Counterexample could be something as simple as a diagram. Looks like this. AB and BC are equal to each other. Okay? Not a midpoint, it's vertex of an angle. Okay? Remember those things, go back in your notes. Conditional statements. We have hypothesis and conclusion. If the hypothesis, then the conclusion. Okay? We have a converse, inverse, contrapositive. Okay? If the original and the converse are both true, we can write it as a biconditional. Remember the abbreviation, if and only if. Okay? We talked about a conjunction. Okay? Conjunction is an and statement. This is the symbol for and. Think about an A without that in there. For a conjunction to be true, both items must be true. P must be true and Q must be true. Okay? A disjunction is or. It looks like this. Okay? The upside down. An open cup. Everything can fall into it. Because on a disjunction, for the statement to be true, only one of the items has to be true. Okay? The negation symbol is this one. Okay? And it means opposite. Okay? Think about it that way. It'll be easier to remember. So, the opposite of P, or not P. Okay? And then finally, truth values. We would look at something like this, say, given P is this, Q is this, is P and Q a true statement? Is P or Q a true statement? Is not P or Q a true statement? Is P or not Q a true statement? That's truth values. Okay? It's pretty easy to look at a series of them and go, okay, that's got to be true, that's not. Okay? That's what we're dealing with. Remember, we're dealing with a question pretty much on most of these things. Okay, the back half of this chapter. The postulates. Okay? The postulates can be found either in your textbook on page 141 or in your 2-4 SG study guide, listed in both places. Okay? Make sure you put those aside. Segment relationships. We talked about midpoints. We talked about adding segments to create new segments. Right? Angle relationships. A little bit more there. In angle relationships, angle addition postulate. Adding two angles together to create a new larger third. Right? Bisectors, when you cut an angle exactly in half. Right? Complementary, supplementary, and vertical angles. Using information to prove that angles are complementary or supplementary. Okay? Right triangle theorems. Okay, remember we talked about right triangles or right angle theorems. Okay? That's what we're dealing with there. Okay, that's on page 163 in the textbook or 2-6 SG. Parallel lines and transversals. Really a good idea to write these down so you remember them. Okay? Remember the difference between interior and exterior angles. Consecutive or alternate deals with the side of the transversal. Corresponding, okay? Holding the same position. Know the relationships. If the lines are parallel and they're cut by a transversal, you have to remember whether those angles are congruent to each other or supplementary to each other. Okay? Proven lines are parallel. In this case, we use the angles to prove parallel. Okay? Remember, if parallel lines, then these are the angle relationships. The opposite, or converse, okay? If angles have this relationship, then the lines that form them must be parallel. Okay? Slope, okay, m equals, okay, change in y over change in x. Your equations of lines, point slope, y-intercept. Okay, make sure you write those down. Perpendiculars and distance, okay, the one you're just finishing now, okay, the long problems. There will be one of those on the test, okay, so probably put together a little bit of, hey, I need to do this and this and this and this, okay, put an outline. For each of these problems, there's going to be a question represented. So the things that I didn't put up here, don't worry about, okay, and like before, as you go through the chapter, you're going to find on the test I have skip next to the question. We didn't cover that, not emphasizing it, don't worry about it. Okay? This is what you've got to deal with for your review. Okay? Make yourself a good review sheet. This is a really long chapter, I know that. It might take front and back, maybe 2 pages. But if you have those sitting on your desk while you're taking the test, it's going to make you more comfortable, more confident, and give you a real easy, yeah, there's that formula. Okay, boom. Okay, so trust me on this, it helps. Okay? When I see you next, we'll be working on our review for this chapter. Okay? The review is going to be a complete these problems. The test is going to be a multiple choice. You still have to do it to make sure you get the right answer. Okay? Okay, I will see you when I see you again. Okay? Take care.